Welcome back to Loadout Lounge. My name is Seth Nichols. Today we are going to be looking at the Kindle Scribe. I just got the Kindle Scribe not too long ago, actually back in July on Prime Day. They had a big sale on it, and I actually got this at a pretty good price for the amount of storage that I got and the actual device itself in the case. So first off, let's talk about price. I know the Kindle Scribe now is more expensive than it was on Prime Day. I bought the Scribe and the case for $343 roughly. There's some change and some tax, but I got the 64 gigabyte one to hold as much of my notes and books as I want. With the Kindle Scribe, it's a reader just like the readers, but the additional thing is you're able to write on it, hence the name Scribe. So as far as my thoughts now, I've used this almost every day. I take notes with it, I read books with it. Whenever I go to any like seminar, convention, or anything, I'm taking notes. I have a bunch of notes on here, and I'll show you how it writes. I'll show you kind of the ins and outs of my use with it, and we'll just get into it. All right, so from the outside, we have a case that is made by Amazon. It's the Kindle case. It came as an additional cost, but with the deal I did for Prime Day, it came with it along with the charger. So what you get, I don't have the packaging anymore. I've been using this, and you'll see how much I've used it here in a little bit, but what you get is the Scribe itself, the case, some replacement pen tips, and the pen. The charger and all that stuff is also included. When it comes to the charger, it is a Type-C charger. And there's one button on the side. The case actually comes off. It does fold, the lid does. So if you're wanting to use it in an elevated position like this, you can. Makes it a little bit easier to write on, a little bit easier to read if you're sitting down. Typically, I just fold it straight. It is magnetized in there, so you could take the whole Scribe off and not have it in the case if you wanted to. Not that I recommend, but it is an option. It lays flat once you fold the case, the lid back on the case, and you are able to use it with it just like this. Most of the time I put the pen in this little sleeve. You can, so the pen is magnetized as well, and it sticks right to the side of the case, but I don't trust it and I don't want to lose the pen. So whenever I'm putting it anywhere that I'm not gonna use it, whether it's my laptop case or just sitting on a table, I leave the pen in this little holder. Now, when it comes to the pen, you have typically what everybody uses is this is the eraser. I've gotten it to where you can set this button as a quick select button. I use this as eraser, and I'll show you here in a little bit. And then as far as the actual tip, the tip comes out. You do get replacement tips because this will wear down over time depending on how hard you press down and how much friction you create. Over time, it will burn up the tip. So you get 5 tips, and this thing is a little bitty grabber to grab a hold of the end of it. I've not needed it yet. I just pulled this one out with my hand. You can tell the difference. This is kind of flatter, and these are kind of pointier as far as how much use it has been. Or how much I've used it. So in order to put it back in, you just press and it's seated. Won't come out. There's nothing clicky that's super loud with this pen. That is the pen. And then as far as the Scribe itself, it has one button on the side, and then the port is on the side to charge as well. I really like that they put the charger on the side, the actual access to the port on the side instead of the bottom like some iPads or anywhere else. As far as buttons or anything on the edges, that is it. So this is what whenever it's in sleep mode, that is the screen that you'll get, something like this. There's some different artworks that they have set as a screensaver, if you will. But in order to activate it, you just press the button and it'll open up. I have it set to the home screen, but depending on what screen you were on last, it will pop up back to that screen. So it'll be right where you left off at. I did it just for this video to set up at the home screen. So you have the home screen. It does lag a little bit from when you touch and scroll, but this is not supposed to be like an iPad or a tablet. This is strictly reading and for writing and taking notes. So you have all the different books that you can go through. You have your library you can click, which is the next button. And you have different books that you can go through and read that are in your library. You have to have internet access to download the books, but if you already have them downloaded, you just click them and you can go read. And then you have your notebooks, which is where the notes that you take. So I have like CEO notes, pre-enrollment, calendar journal, E-Myth, which is a book I'm currently reading, and then a notebook. So let's click on the notebook. This one I've actually taken notes on from a recent seminar I went to, and you can see all the different, this is all my handwriting. I can go on here right now and start writing, okay? And then I can click this button, or I can hit the eraser over here. So this is like the only quick select menu on the screen. So it has the pen mode, which if you click the pen, you have pen, fountain pen, marker, and pencil. And with each of them, you have different thickness or how big, I guess you could say font, but how thick the ink is. So we have really thin, and then we can go all the way up to thick. Okay, and then you have a highlighter, which the highlighter, you can do fine, thin, medium, thick, or heavy, and it's not going to be in color. It's going to be in gray, and it'll highlight. If you want to undo something, you could go down here and hit the undo button. Or if you need to erase something, you could hit the erase button, and you can go through fine, thin, medium, thick, heavy. You can erase a selection, or you can erase the whole page. So I want to erase, get that out of the way, and I can start erasing. And then I can erase this if I want to. It won't change anything until you actually change your selection. Another way to erase is you can use the select button, and you can circle whatever you're wanting to, either you're wanting to move it, or you're wanting to cut it, or you want to duplicate it and add it. So you could cut it and it makes it disappear. Now it's copied to clipboard, so if you click on the screen, it puts it right back. So we could cut it and then go to a different page. Let's see here, and we can paste it right there. So if you're wanting to change over or move something, you can do that. The only way to get it off of trying, if you were to click the screen again and get it to where it doesn't paste it, is you just click the pen and go back to writing. Now, another way I have set up the eraser, you can erase with the pen by flipping it over and erase that way. Or you can quick select this button as the eraser. So instead of me having to flip over or do that like a normal pencil or pen, I just click the button and I erase. And it does, I don't know if you'll pick up on the camera, but you can see a little bit of an outline of where it was, the drawing, but that'll disappear over time. And I don't know necessarily the reason why that is. I kind of think it's to remind you or show you where you just wrote. But even if I start writing over here, I can write over it and then erase. And you can still see a little bit of the line that's still there. So, and I don't know if you can hear clearly, like exactly the writing. I may have to try another way to be able to pick up the audio, but it actually sounds like you're writing on paper. Some tablets, it's very tappy. You don't really hear or feel. And that's why this pen tip, they send replacements, because there is a little bit of a texture on the screen itself to make it symbolize writing. I've messed with, if you're looking at some type of note-taking tablet, I'm sure you've looked at the Remarkable or Remarkable 2 and maybe some iPads. The Remarkable 2 I've messed with, and it's similar to this, but this is not as expensive as a Remarkable 2. That's why, the main reason why I went with the Kindle Scribe is I was able to get it for less than $350, whereas the Remarkable 2, I believe, is in the $800 range. So if you want to get out of this workbook or this notebook, you tap at the top of the screen, and if you want to see all the pages, you can click that button and it will show you all of the pages in your notebook. So this is notebook 1. This is, like I said earlier, is from a seminar, so it's all the different notes I've taken. You can add pages. You can move the page. So if I wanted to move this, I could just click this line and it would move that page to there. You can add a page somewhere in there. You can delete a current selected page. But if you want to go back, you can go back to your notebook, or you can go back to the other notebooks. So I've got different pages here of my different notes I have. And I can scroll up and I can see more notes. I have one just for my son, and I will probably most of the time he's the one that's melting through the tip, because he's 4 and he will sit here and just press down on the screen as hard as he can and just color. And that's probably why the tip has gotten as far down as it has. But it's perfect for him to get on here and draw, write, just kind of mess around and distract him a little bit, better than giving him a phone and letting him play whatever game you can find on there. Let's see here. I have just different notes that I've taken, different pages for different things. I'm not going to get into all of them because some of them y'all don't need to see. But another thing that the Kindle Scribe is good for is reading books. So if we go back to my library, we'll do this because I've already downloaded it. It's just a regional director responsibilities for one of my businesses that I own. You can click the page on this and you can swipe it left and right and go to different pages. Or you could click the hand, and you're not able to write like notes on the page, but you can do a note on top of the page, as far as like maybe a post-it note would be a close example. So if I click on the page, it posted a place where I can write a handwritten note, or I can do a text note, and then I can type out a note. Now, typically, if you're writing notes, you can download this. I actually downloaded this form from my Dropbox. There's a way you can go on Amazon and you can upload a file to your Kindle Scribe, and that's what I did with this form. So I don't really write notes on this form. I just go through this and make sure that I'm doing all the different tasks that I'm supposed to. But if I wanted to write a note, I could write a note just right here. Go to work. Okay, just a simple note. If I want to erase that note, I can just select. That's the quickest way to get rid of a long form note. And then we're back, good to go. And then you exit the note, you can just delete it, you can cancel it, leave it there. It'll be on that page whenever you come back to it. Now, if you want to change the brightness, if you want to change the warmth, if you want to go to dark mode, airplane mode, Bluetooth, or sync things, you just swipe down from the top of the screen, and that shows you this little menu. And you can go all the way to where it's more of a yellow tint, the warmth, or you can come all the way back down. It gets fairly dim, but it's still bright enough, even at 0, that you can read everything. But typically I leave it around in here somewhere. And then you can just go through all your pages. I've literally used this Kindle Scribe pretty much almost every day, just for my work, reading books, just whatever I'm doing. This is a way to have a tablet or device without having the distractions with all the games or the apps like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. You can get those on an Apple tablet, but you're not going to get that on here. So this is a very, business-oriented or work-oriented tablet. It's writing notes or reading books. So you have the home, library, notebooks, and then you have more. So when you go to more, it shows your reading lists. Be Your Future Self Now, Dead Center, Wide Out, different books that are on my reading list. You have Goodreads, which you have to have Wi-Fi. That is one thing you will need, is you can have Wi-Fi on your device. It would show all of these different recommendations. And then we have web browser. You can search through the web browser. I have tried to go to the Facebook, and I will see if I can't get this connected to the internet and show you what the Facebook page will look like on here, but it's not going to be what you're thinking, like an app on the phone where it's super simple and super easy. Then you have settings, which are all the different settings, accessibility, pen settings. You can go in here and change your shortcut button to something else, whether it's highlighter, marker, an eraser, sticky note. It comes default as a highlighter, but I never really highlighted something, never really had the need. I erase more than I need the highlighter. And if I wanted to use the highlighter, I could just click the little menu on the side and select the highlighter. And then you have just the legal notices, safety and compliance stuff. So when it comes to the Kindle Scribe, I highly recommend it for college students if they want something that's going to keep them focused on what they're supposed to be doing, like if they're in class and they need to take notes. This will keep them, if you're not wanting to waste paper, which was my biggest thing, is I had notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of just legal pads where I would take notes. And then I would go to look for that note that I took someplace and I would lose it. This is a good way to have everything organized to where you can see your notes. If I need to go through and look at my hiring stuff, I can go through and see the coaches or potential team members that I'm looking to add. If I want to go to my book notes that I'm looking at, I just click it and it will take me right to it. I highly recommend this for anybody that takes notes on the daily or that is needing a way to keep their notes all in one place. All right. Tell me what you think. If you have a Kindle Scribe, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe for further content on my page. We also have a Instagram. Go on Instagram and look up Loadout Lounge. All right, we'll catch y'all on the next one.